Right.
Big time.
Well, that's the thing. So I've been a real estate broker for a long, long, long time. And I'm at a point in my life now where I'm transitioning into some other things as well. And yoga, and among other things, is part of
You're
it.
digging it.
I'm digging it a lot. I've been teaching for a couple of years. As a matter of fact, if you want to get a sense of some of the different yoga styles or practices that I teach, coming up, let's see. I had the date here.
Because there's so many.
There are quite a few. You do. So on August 19th at 11 o'clock, that's a Sunday morning, they're shutting down Young and Bloor. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Young and Bloor is going to be shut down. There's going to be a pop-up park at Young and Bloor.
Really?
And we're putting asses to mats, yoga mats, and we're expecting hundreds of people to come out.
No kidding.
Yeah. So an additional thing, for those of you who don't know me, I'm also a Lululemon brand ambassador. Right. And as a result of being associated and collaborating with Lululemon, I get an opportunity to go out throughout the city and teach yoga in all different places. So I'll be teaching that class.
Awesome.
And that's so there's also stuff coming up in September. September is going to be the 20th anniversary of Lululemon. Who knew?
No kidding.
20 years.
Wow.
Right? So 20 years of Lululemon, and we're going to be celebrating with yoga throughout the city as well. I'm going to be teaching a whole bunch of classes, so we'll keep people informed on that one. And but Denise, I want to talk to you about your yoga journey, and just tell me a little bit about how it started, because you and I have known each other for a while, but you were already practicing, and so was I.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I think that yoga, especially the line of work that I do, which sometimes can be very stressful.
I think often, actually.
has really helped me in terms of just being a healthier, happier person. And, I didn't know anything about yoga. I always thought it was stretching, not really exercise. In my mind, I was just thinking of doing, all kinds of convoluted postures and poses. It was my daughter who told me about something called hot yoga, and that was about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I just fell in love with it. For a person like me who was a runner, and just that's all I did. As soon as I went to that first class, I was overwhelmed. I don't know what about it. But when I was lying down on a mat and did nothing for the first little while, it's like, how many times in our lives do we just do that?
Just lie there and breathe and do nothing.
Yeah.
And do nothing. And I almost was brought to tears the first few times, and I don't even know why. But that's how much it affected me. And then I
can tell you why. I'm a yoga teacher. I can tell you why. Go on.
But I just felt what happened is I got so strong, and it was like a really good workout. And I guess, Lou, you see me now, and I see you. Your body's incredible, by the way. It's just very strong.
Thank you.
It just does something, or it did to my body, and I just love it. And also going to your classes, which is those are the classes I like to go to. They're really intense.
Yeah.
Like, Lou, you're a challenge to keep up with. So it's just really helped me deal with stress, made me a stronger and a happier person.
That's amazing. So, because that's such an amazing, and you practice how many times a week?
Well, if I don't have condo meetings at night, I try 6 times a week.
Yeah.
If I could do it 7, I would.
You would. Yeah. Denise has a solid practice. And, a lot of what you're talking about is the benefits of this practice, this healthy lifestyle practice of yoga, which takes on so many different forms. Now, Denise had this aha yoga moment where it's the heat, that additional element that's put into a yoga practice that landed on her body. It resonated with her body type, and it's exactly what happened to me. Because Denise, I practiced yoga before in non-heated environments, and quite frankly, I walked away with not a great experience. And I tried several until I ended up in a hot room,
Can you start in a hot room if you've never done it before?
Well, sure, but for some people, they not knowing what to expect, I think is also okay. You can often go into a yoga studio, ask them ahead of time if you can step in. People have different thoughts about the heat, the concept about heat, and whether it's too much heat or not enough heat, or why even heat, or body types, as particularly for women, and some women that are sort of perimenopausal or menopausal will not go into a heated class. That's fair.
Yep.
That's not happening, right? But and every body type is different. So for Denise, the hot room landed well. For me, it landed well and continues to do it. So even though I teach in different environments, it's that heat that really makes the difference for us. Yeah, it's amazing. And it adds a certain level of intensity that I think just ramps it up. Do you find that as well, Denise?
Yeah. Well, sometimes the heat can be a bit too intense.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it can. It can because
Well,
the
how
core
high?
temperature, of the body goes quite high. And
But what is the temperature, Lou, in the room?
and the room is, we try and keep it at 99 degrees. However, hang on a second. However, so a Bikram class is 104 to 105.
Good grief.
Right. Super hot, like super, super hot. I've had difficulties trying to get through that class.
Like humidity hot.
And it's like a solid 104, 105. Like there's almost no air movement.
Ew.
So this, and it's a 90-minute class. Those Bikram classes are 90 minutes for those, classes are still being taught out there. And anyway, that's a whole level, a different level of intensity. But we're hovering at 99.
Wow.
Which
That's hot.
by contrast, well, it is. So it's almost like imagine walking into a sauna and then doing a whole bunch of body movements for a solid hour.
I would die. I'm dead.
That's sauna. However, there's good news, which I'm going to talk about after when we come back.
416-705-1444. ConnectWithLou.com is the contact. Lots more is on the way here. Global News Radio 640 Toronto. Real Estate SOS, 416-705-1444, connectwithlou.com. If you're thinking buying, selling, getting into that market, yoga for that matter, you want to contact Lou, go to the website, make the phone call when he's not doing this, or teaching yoga, of course, full-time real estate broker, Harvey Callis Realty here in Toronto.
Yeah, Denise, I read something the other day which sort of really resonated with me as well, and it's that somebody said to me, you know what? There's this thing out there, it's called the disease of being busy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Think about it. The disease of being busy. Oh, how are you? Oh, I'm busy.
Busy.
Oh, I'm so busy. Well, what does that mean? I'm busy. Does that mean you're stressed? Does that mean like you're anxious? Does that mean what does that mean? Oh, I'm just so busy. There is this disease of being busy. And in the fitness world where I come from, and a lot of what Denise does as well, and John, you're into fitness, right? We got to get you into a yoga class. We'll get you started there. But, this concept of being busy, being active, the way that we live our lives here is
crazy.
Wound up.
Yep.
We are wound up all the time.
We ain't
our
chill.
state, our internal state is cranked up. And it's causing a lot of disease, right?
Yep.
And a lot of people are getting sick. And a lot of people around me at a very young age have been dropping.
Yeah, they're taking a header.
And I don't know what's going on, other than I know what's going on. And unfortunately, it's just there's so much that affects our state and our internal state of calmness or not. It's either fight or flight, or feed or breed, one or the other. You pick and choose which way you want to go.
Right,
and I pick the feed and breed.
No, why not?
It's much calmer, actually. It's really, it's very chill. And so that's the challenge, is that there's just not a lot of chill happening. So, through what we do in the practice of yoga or meditation or mindfulness, these are the concepts that start to allow us to not break away from this crazy living, but just manage it a little bit better, so that when it comes time to making a decision, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Denise, follow me on this one. Like, think about how we breathe through yoga practice, the mindfulness, the meditative, concepts and thoughts that we use. That allows me to take those concepts off my yoga mat, put it into my professional life, and then when I'm making big decisions, I'm making them calmly. Does that make sense, Denise? Do you find that in your practice as well?
Well, I do. And I think it took me a while to understand the concept, but I think that we always feel guilty taking time for ourselves. And
The concept of self-care.
Yeah, self-care, and we're always available 24/7, right? With our cell phones, we don't shut down, and I've learned to just, everything waits. Nothing has to be done right now, and thinking about what you have to do really doesn't change the situation.
Right.
Things are there, whether you think about it or not. So
Right.
put it out of your mind. Sit on a cushion and, try to meditate for 5 minutes. Like, how difficult is that? And a lot of people don't feel guilty and won't take the time for themselves.
Or they can't, because in the first couple segments we were talking about baby boomers and their parents. That is a generation where it was go, go, go. Now they retire and they panic because they have all this time and they don't know how to relax. They end up getting part-time jobs again.
Yeah.
Not interested. I'm ready to retire now.
Yeah.
Right?
But so what we're talking about here is, that's a great point, John, is they end up getting a lot. There's like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And for a lot of people, as they start to retire and slow down, like for someone like myself, like at 55, I started to get into yoga at 54, 55. That's later in life. But I chose that path versus getting a part-time job somewhere else.
Right.
So I chose a fitness-related, sort of post-end to my back end of my life, because that's what I wanted. And what we're trying to do through, our yoga studios and through Lululemon and other ambassadorships and other joint, efforts, is to try and get people into fitness in whatever form it looks like. Is great. If you want to do yoga, come with us. Yeah. It's part of the meditative process. It's part of being mindful. It's part of actually helping us to navigate through, because there are big decisions, even still, like those decisions, just because we're semi-retiring or retiring doesn't mean that our decisions are stopping. They're not. In fact, we want to live very fully. And the nice thing about the yoga practice, the movement portion of the yoga practice, is that it's exactly that. It keeps our joints, our architecture healthy,
right? So
that when we're there's no reason whatsoever why someone at the age of 45 or 50, unless they've had a traumatic or DNA type incident, that they're using a cane or a walker, just because they're sedentary. That should not be happening.
Absolutely
not. No. Movement is constantly what
we
advocate. And it doesn't mean to, to suggest that people need to be like Olympic athletes here.
Or yogis. They just need to just participate.
It's participate just to create movement. The one thing we always say in the yoga world is you get an A just for showing up. All you got to do is just show up. And then if you happen to create a movement or 2 or 12, great. It's all that's the A plus on top of the A. Yeah. That's great. So it's just show up. And it's this type of mindfulness that, we try and cover through when we sit down with clients to talk about whether legal issues with Denise or whether, hardcore real estate issues when it comes to buying and selling. This is how we try and approach it, a bit more mindfully, a bit more thoughtfully. There's no panic. And like Denise said, there's no rush to a lot of this stuff, because no one needs to be pushed to do, to get into this sort of a transaction.
Yeah. Thanks, Denise. Appreciate that. And you need to reach out and contact Lou. Easy. Just chill and do it. 416-705-1444. Connectwithlou.com. Till next time, Real Estate SOS.